When a retail investor looks at the revenue generated by a five-star resort or a billion-dollar casino, the barrier to entry is typically absolute. You often need millions in liquid capital just to participate, which limits these sectors to large institutional players. This source document breaks down the market caps for the iGaming, real estate, and hospitality industries, all measuring in the trillions of dollars. To access these markets with smaller amounts of capital, Romeo Nation uses fractional ownership, which splits large assets into microshares. In the subscription table, the starter tier lists investments between $50 and $500. We'll model a baseline investment of $100. Upon deposit, currency is converted into vault credits. The growth vault graphic illustrates these credits pooling to generate value. This initial conversion step is the bridge. It transforms an isolated individual deposit into a contributing share within a larger, diversified capital pool. Looking at the yield bonus table, the starter tier specifies a 5% monthly yield on staked vault credits. On our $100 test case, that equals $5 per month. However, dividing that monthly yield by 30 days reveals the actual operational flow, roughly 16 cents credited to the account every day. This automated daily dredge requires no active management or network marketing. It is purely passive accumulation based on the initial stake. Tracking this micro-distribution shows the actual pace of growth. It provides a concrete timeline for when returns are actually accessible to the user. The yield bonus table also lists a 2x returns multiplier for this tier. This is a structural limit. The package stops yielding once the total returns reach double the value of the initial stake. To calculate the investment's total life cycle, we divide the 200% target by the 5% monthly yield. The math resolves to 40 months. At that point, the $100 starter package hits its $200 ceiling and the distribution cycle ends. This result shows that the starter tier operates on a fixed algorithmic cycle. It is a predictable maturation process with a clearly defined mathematical limit. When the account hits its limit, growth concludes. This document lists 3 redemption paths. First, internal conversion, fractional property ownership with a company's crypto token. The third option is a direct cash buyback, completing your 2 times return. The process follows a linear 3-part sequence. First, you stake your capital. Then you collect a daily drip until the cap is reached. And finally, you choose your redemption method. For those entering the ecosystem, starting with this $100 baseline allows you to observe these mechanics in real time before moving to the higher tier packages. By mastering the logic of the starter tier, you have identified the core blueprint that governs how the platform's investment models scale across every single tier.